The following program may contain coarse language, violence, nudity, mature subject matter, or scenes which may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the X-Zone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide, toll-free, 800-610-7035. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV, and our main site, www.xzoneradiotv.com. And don't forget, X-Zone Nation, you can go to the X-Zone store, and you can, buy the app for the Android, and for the Kindle and Apple. I know, we're charging a whole lot of money, 99 cents. That's it. With that, you get all access to the radio shows, the TV segments, the X Chronicles newspaper. You get discount coupons. You get an RSS feed. You get a whole bunch of great things for whole 99 cents. And that's just a one-time purchase. Away you go. And you can also now go to the X-Zone Book Club and get past editions of the X Chronicles newspaper. Just go to X-Zone, thexzonestore.com. All the information is there. You know, X-Zone Nation, last week we were speaking about that Russian cyber gang that took, 1.2 billion usernames and passwords. Well, my guest this hour is Eric Schiffer, and he is chairman and CEO of Patrick Equity, digitalmarketing.com, and reputationmanagementconsultants.com. All of Eric's companies are armed and equipped with large digital security divisions. Joining me now is Eric Schiffer. And Eric, first of all, thank you so much for coming on the show. This must be a very busy time for you folks in light of the 1.2 billion usernames and passwords. So thanks very much, and welcome to the X-Zone.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. It is a busy time between our clients and certainly the media that I've been, responding to, who are representing so many people around the world, whether it's in the United States or Canada or in the EU or in England, who have been affected by what has been one of the largest hacking jobs ever. And there are many people who are raising the specter of the fact that it could be and was Putin that was behind this, largely to retaliate on behalf of some of the moves that have gone on, driven by the EU and driven by the United States, and that raises a whole host of questions.
Well, let's look at it this way: if he shoots down planes, invade countries, why not cyber attacks?
Well, cyber is somewhat benign compared to some of those things, and and nothing goes on in Russia without Putin's fingertips or fingerprints on something, and so it certainly is logical to consider that, especially with additional data points suggesting that there were members of Putin's Secret Service involved in this, and that some of the people that he used to be involved with when he ran that that division, the KGB, were tied to this ring. These have not been confirmed, but certainly when you add up some of the circumstantial evidence, it raises questions that require further evaluation. This is something that many people don't even know that they've been hit, because typically the way this is done is it's done through a series of steps. One is when you download certain items, meaning it may be a free a program. It could be a calendar. It could be even a screensaver. It could be a mobile device, some kind of an app that's free. You can get hacked that way. The other way you can get hacked is if you have a password into a site. What they do is they then use that to determine where the vulnerabilities are in what's called the SQL, and that's a fancy term for basically how the database interacts with users. So most sites have a database which allows them to pull up your information, and there are vulnerabilities in the way that interaction occurs. And so they determine those vulnerabilities and then go and hack the actual site. So it was largely business sites that they were going after, but they used individuals and their passwords to get to it. And so one of the things you can do is you can go to several sites to determine whether or not you have been hacked, and I'll give those to your users, your listeners later in the show.
Sure.
And then, second, you can also change your passwords, and because if you weren't hacked here, there's a probability that you could be hacked in the future. And many people, surprisingly, have very simple passwords that if I told them to you, you'd be surprised. I mean,
Really?
One of the most popular passwords of the last year has been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Eric, you and I have got to take a commercial break. Please stand by. Exonation Eric Schiffer is my special guest this hour. Here's a couple of websites. directmarketing.com and reputationmanagementconsultants.com. And Eric and I will be back on the other side of this 2-minute break. Don't go away. Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifeology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Named one of the world's greatest psychics, Elizabeth Joyce is now giving readings worldwide via Skype. Elizabeth Joyce is recognized for her clairvoyant ability to help find missing persons, her analysis of dreams, past life regression work, mediumship, and her accurate predictions. Elizabeth has been a frequent guest on the X-Zone radio show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, now for several years. For an appointment with Elizabeth Joyce, call 201-934-8986 or Skype at elizabeth.joyce. And for more information, you can always visit Elizabeth Joyce online at www.new-visions.com.
Do you have a dis-ease that you would like to alleviate through a natural means? Have you been contacted by angels, ghosts, or even extraterrestrials and want to validate these experiences? Or would you simply like to speak with someone who can help you find your life's purpose? I'm Dr. Joseph Mara, and I'm offering my services free of charge for first-time clients contacting me during the month of April. These free consultations include angel card readings, guided meditations, life coaching, and energy healing. If you have always wanted to explore these types of experiences but were skeptical or simply could not afford them, then take advantage of this free special offer. Contact me through my website, aguidinglight, spelled LITE.com, to schedule your consultation today. Until then, I offer you love, light, and laughter.
Exonation Eric Schiffer is our special guest this hour. He is chairman and CEO of Patriarch Equity, digitalmarketing.com, and reputationmanagementconsultants.com. All of his companies are armed and equipped with large digital security divisions. And Eric, before we went to the commercial break, we were talking about the Russian hackers, and kind of has Mr. Putin's fingerprints all over it. How hard was it for these guys to amass 1.2 billion? That's a lot of usernames and passwords.
It's a lot. It really is. I mean, you're talking 500 million email addresses, just a massive trove of stolen information, and the ability to get into so many different websites. And this is a gang that apparently is less than about a dozen people. Certain regions, especially Mongolia and Kazakhstan, house most of them, and largely in their 20s. I mean, these are young folks that were able to get access to these databases. And what's really sad is that so many people are totally unaware of it. And so one of the things that you certainly want to do is to do your homework, determine whether you've been hacked, change your password, as I said. There's a site called Have I Been? It's HAVEIBEEN, and then PWNED.com. And you can put in your email address, and they will let you know that whether you have ever been hacked based upon the major large-scale hacks that are in existence.
Wow, and that's free.
Yeah, that's a free site that you can go ahead and go to. So what I would also recommend is if you have been hacked, you certainly want to cancel your credit cards. You want to review your credit cards. You may even want to look into whether anyone has used your Social Security. You can pull credit reports, etc. And hopefully none of your listeners have had this happen, but to the extent that they have, those are the things that you're going to want to do.
Do you foresee at any time in the future where the threat of hacking will be eliminated?
It will be very difficult. I mean, there will come a time in which authentication will occur via iris and perhaps even a thumbprint that would happen. But these are years down the road, and in theory, someone could even copy that through video and through some other masking of information. So no, there will always be a cat and mouse game here. But there are things that you'll be able to do that will further protect you, and you can do that today. I mean, look, most major bank sites and even Google and Apple offer two-factor authentication. So I mean that's a much higher level. You can get into even greater levels of authentication, but most sites don't because it can be very difficult to manage.
Yeah, changing passwords, I can just hear people cringing, saying, "Oh, you gotta be kidding!" No.
Well, I can understand, especially if you've got 10 to 13 or 15 things that you're logging into. Another interesting data point, in terms of passwords, one of the second most used passwords in the last year is the word password.
Oh,
so be careful. These are not clever, the best passwords to use to protect yourself.
So what do these hackers do? Do they develop algorithms that go out and seek these vulnerabilities?
What they do is they create these botnets. So they what happens is what that means is that they inject software when you download different free applications. And that software rests on your computer, and it waits. It waits until there's a message from the master computer that tells it what to do. In the meantime, it's studying what sites you're going to. It's looking at the passwords you use to those sites. It's looking at the protocols of how to get into those sites. And it's studying those sites. It's also studying your computer to see where you may have important information.
Unbelievable. So if somebody's reputation gets hacked, how can they be restored? And that must be one heck of a job.
Well, there's two different things. I mean, one is, your own information. But two, the biggest problem today for many politicians, A-list actors, CEOs, businessmen, even small and medium-sized business people are just that. Their reputation gets hacked, meaning there are attacks that occur about them online or their business that are typically done by competitors. In some cases, it can be done by an ex-spouse or a disgruntled lover. And they write a lot of nasty things. And today, you're defined by what Google says you are. So if someone decides that they're going to Google you and they look online and they see you, you want to show up factually accurate. You don't want to show up certainly looking as some of these people may want to construe you, which would be a negative connotation in a negative light, which really doesn't represent you, but it represents the way they want you to be. And so there are businesses that specialize in protecting your reputation, and if you've been attacked, to help you regain your reputation. And one of those companies, the leading company at the high end, and we do this for politicians, we do it for A-list actors, we do it for a lot of the Forbes 100 wealthiest men and women, is called reputationmanagementconsultants.com, which is one of the businesses that you mentioned earlier. And and what we do is we assess your problem, we assess the vulnerability of your reputation, we also assess if you currently have a problem, and we give you a very clear plan to fix it with factual information that can be put on the web that's credible about you, and that factual information supersedes the negative.
Wow. What about these companies that monitor your credit reports, and if there's anything suspicious, they notify you?
Well, there are many different companies that do that kind of a service. What's interesting is that most of those types of monitoring capabilities can be done by yourself at a pretty reasonable rate, because you're allowed to pull a credit report, and you can also subscribe to get a credit report. So, in fact, some have been sanctioned because what they're really selling is something that you can do at no cost to yourself if you know exactly how to do it. Any information about your personal assets and your personal, governmental data is always good to know. I mean, that's a good thing to know. You want to know if someone's messing with you. You want to know if someone's trying to impersonate you. These are important things, as is your reputation. I mean, today we live in this reputation economy. Try to go and date. Try to go and get a loan. Try to go and close a big business deal if someone Googles you and suddenly they see that you may not be a good person. That's just not going to help you, and many times it can prevent a deal from happening. And so, that's not to say that we take on people that have been convicted of serious crimes or child molestation. We don't touch it, in fact. We have our own compliance division. But if you pass the compliance test, we absolutely will help you.
How often do you come up with these clients who have been decimated by online lies and online deceit?
We get, I would say between 10 to 20 inbound calls a day.
Whoa.
To reputationmanagementconsultants.com. Absolutely, and they range from the student in college who had a night out with her boyfriend. They were at an event. They decided to take some pictures in a booth. where everyone was taking these are, like the old photo booths of days past, but now it's done with video. Well, what they didn't know is that the risque pictures that they took were captured on video and then shared and went public the next day on the internet.
Ooh.
And that then went viral. So suddenly, this one of our clients, who was certainly having a really good time with her boyfriend behind what they thought were closed doors and private, was now on most men's websites that show very sexy naked women all over the world. So we went to action, and within a period of 4 months, cleaned it up for her entirely.
Wow. What happens if you come across a website, the guy says, too bad, I'm not going to take it down?
It happens quite a bit. And so in those situations, there are legal remedies. There are other remedies, too, because, look, what matters ultimately is how it's perceived in Google and Yahoo and Bing. And most people typically don't go that deep in terms of searching. So if you prepare a strategy that clears the first couple of pages, maybe even the third page, it's not overly expensive, and you can control your reputation.
But what does that say about the control that we've allowed companies like Google and Bing and other search engine companies to get over our information?
It says that it's out of control, and so much so that really 5 men, and a few more at Bing and Yahoo are controlling your reality. I mean, they really are. And our belief is that no 5 men or women should have that much power, that the power should rest back in the individual, that the individual should decide how he or she looks, especially if it's been if it's a good person who has integrity, and be able to control how they look, and and that's what our business does. It gives you back that ability. It gives your business that ability from being hijacked, from being unfairly judged, and from having all the negative repercussions that go from that, so you can gain your life back, and in the process build your business and have more opportunity and more success again.
A second chance.
A second chance, it's redemption. Because today, without it, you're wearing the Google scarlet letter if you've been, maligned, and to us that's unfair. The next big thing that's going on, is this whole concept of for businesses today of how they grow online and what are the real fulcrums, because Google has become in many ways less relevant in terms of businesses and grow their businesses now.
All right,
we're going to
have to hold this because I've got to take my news break. Eric, please stand by. X-Zone Nation, Eric Schiffer is our special guest. A couple of websites, digitalmarketing.com and reputationmanagementconsultants.com. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X-Zone. We'll be back after this short break. Don't go away. My name is Rob McConnell, and I would like to tell you about a very special lady that I have the pleasure of knowing, and that's Miss Sylvia Anthony. Sylvia Anthony believes the golden years are a time to gear up and get busy, not relax and take it easy. She has faced many hardships in her 84 years, but they have made her stronger and more determined. As founder and president of Sylvia's Haven, a shelter for women and their children near Boston, Sylvia has helped transform over 1,086 lives in the past 27 years, not only with housing, but also providing direction as to where they can go to develop the earning skills they want and need to live free from difficult domestic situations. Sylvia's Haven is everything to Sylvia Anthony, even calling it her magnificent obsession. Women who qualify for the program at Sylvia's Haven receive assistance via guidance counselors to find the appropriate job opportunity. Women and their children may remain at the housing for up to 2 years. At the end of this time, or sooner, a woman who is successfully employed and has an apartment or home may leave Sylvia's Haven to begin a new and independent life. Now this is where you come in to help make Sylvia's dream into a reality.
Sylvia's dream is to have a Sylvia's Haven in every state to help as many women and their children as she can, and to help this dream come true. A crowdfunding site has been established which can be accessed at www.sylviasdream.org. Now that's www.sylviasdream.org. With your financial help and support, Sylvia Anthony will continue to help those in their time of need, not only in the Boston area, but with her dream of having a Sylvia's Haven in every state of the United States. Your help is needed to make Sylvia's dream come true. Please visit and give at www.sylviasdream.org. Once again, www.sylviasdream.org. And remember, the only difference between a dream and reality is just doing it. We need your help to make Sylvia's dream come true. Visit www.sylviasdream.org. Once again, www.sylviasdream.org. For the X Zone Radio TV show and the X Chronicles newspaper, I am Rob McConnell.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Exonation, speaking about contacting people, here's some more information about my very special guest this hour, Eric Schiffer. His website, his personal website, is ericschiffer.com. That's ERICSCHIFFER.com. On Twitter, it's at Eric Schiffer. And he also writes for Forbes magazine, so if you'd like to read some of the great articles that Eric has written, just go to Forbes, and you can find everything there. Now, if you have a company, or if you would like to get your reputation rebuilt, here's the website, www.reputationmanagementconsultants.com, and he is also the CEO of digitalmarketing.com. Speaking about marketing, online digital marketing, how does the social media aspect that has just kind of exploded affecting the online marketing potential?
Well, it's interesting. You have to go back in time and think about the fact that in 1996, Google was just coming into fruition, and Yahoo was really the dominant leader. Lycos was another one.
Oh yeah.
And and businesses really weren't leveraging it in that great a way to build themselves. And Google soon began to be known as this source of very credible, authoritative information that you could count on. And so people more and more began to go to it. And businesses discovered that, hey, this is a source of data that people trust. And if I advertise in this way, based upon key terms that they search for, I can actually begin to get really good quality leads. And businesses from 2000 to 2006 really started to grow. Those that figured it out built big businesses fast because you could scale the size of your business in a capital-efficient way and get people that had the intent to buy. Okay. Around 2007, as we know, 2008, social media began to grow. Facebook came into play. Twitter soon came into play thereafter. And other forms of apps that people could interface with. This then began and opened the door to sites like Yelp and other review sites that were social media driven in nature, meaning people would leave their reviews of different establishments. And what began to happen, especially over the last 3 years, is more and more people go to these sites, either through Google or direct. And there's more than 50 of them that review all different types of businesses. And so, before people make a buying decision now, and many times before they even begin their investigation, they go to these sites. So the businesses that have the best quality reviews and the highest volume of reviews, number of reviews, are the ones that typically get the most business. The problem that exists for many companies is they're unaware of this whole process. They think that they're passive observers to it, and those that are those that are aware of it. There are many that aren't even aware of how the power of being able to use the system to garner new leads, to garner new opportunities, and more importantly, to prevent the loss of business that's going to their competitor. So we created a system called reviewmanagement.com. It's one of the other investments that Patriarch, which is the holding company for all of these, helped to create. And what reviewmanagement.com does is it helps any business. In America, there's about 20 million small businesses, and in Canada, there's a significant number. I forget the actual total, but it's in the millions. Certainly in the EU, it's enormous. And so it helps businesses find the reviews that exist for their business. It helps businesses collect new reviews from their ongoing customers. And then it helps to syndicate the good quality reviews to the 50 or 60 review sites that exist, all at the same time while monitoring if new reviews happen.
Wow.
So with the push of a button, you can find every review that exists online. With that same push of the button, it will email all of your past customers. It will monitor the good. It will take the good reviews. Any review that may not be a 4 or 5 star, it quarantines it so it never gets syndicated. And the ones that are good, it syndicates it all throughout the web. So what you get are all these directories now that suddenly will begin to rank higher on Google for the key terms that matter related to your business. You're going to get a lot of new traffic. You're going to get a lot of new business because you're far more credible, and you prevent your competitor now from stealing what would have been your business because you show up with good quality reviews and a higher volume of reviews, and all at a price point that costs you about a tenth of what it would cost you to hire a full-time person. So this business is growing like crazy because businesses that are going after it and using it are growing from it, and they're preventing themselves from getting hijacked by competitors.
I would imagine one of these sites that you're talking about. I could let's see. The one that comes to mind is Angie's List.
Yeah, well, that's one of the ones that it will syndicate to. Is Angie's List. Yelp, it syndicates to most of the big ones, City Search, etc. Google, obviously, and the average business person just doesn't have the time. They don't have, or they don't necessarily want to spend another $2,000 to $4,000 a month to hire someone to do this process because it's time consuming, it's labor intensive, and it takes work, and it needs to be done correctly so that it's going to be effective. And so, to have an application that is advanced technology that with a push of the button does all of this and protects them 24/7 and ensures that they get new leads to grow their business, it's really a godsend. And it's exciting for so many reasons because of that. And it's and it ties in with this whole movement of social media, which is not going away. It's only going to get bigger.
How soon after starting with this system would a company or a business start to see positive results?
Our average business that we work with begins to see positive results the first 90 days, meaning they see a tremendous increase in the number of reviews. They see a tremendous increase in the number of listings that show up on Google, traffic, leads, etc. And the biggest factor as well, which is that they begin to start seeing their business grow and prevent the types of opportunities that would have gone to them, but had gone to the competitor, begin to come back.
How important is good search engine optimization these days? And I understand that Google is going to be making some changes when it comes to outside search engine optimization companies.
Google has, for I think the last 10 to 15 years, been playing this cat and mouse game with businesses that have specialized in search engine optimization. At digitalmarketing.com, we certainly have a division that focuses on this. And it's done using white hat techniques. And for people that are at home that run a small business, run a medium-sized business, or even a large business, it's important to recognize that search engine optimization is really a way of capturing attention on a key term by key term search basis within the first several pages of Google when someone does a specific search. And typically right now, when someone does a search, let's say it's for women's shoes, there will be 7 to 10 different advertisers that show up and a host of different slots that are, quote, the organic side. And organic meaning it's published by Google, they're not advertisers. What Google has done is they've continued to put more real estate for the advertisers, less real estate available for companies that want to show up organically, and far more real estate for websites that are more about neutral guidebooks, okay, or Wikipedia, or things that don't necessarily push a specific commercial approach. So in many ways, search engine optimization is harder than ever. In other ways, it's more effective than ever because of that. And Google also has tried to shut down the ability for businesses to analyze the traffic that comes in. So they figured that if they could make it difficult for someone to not see by analyzing the traffic on their website whether that traffic is coming in through organic search versus advertising, that people would be less interested in doing SEO and organic search. And to some level, that's true. They have. But the more sophisticated you are, the more you recognize that organic search is not going away, that it's still powerful. Those are the ones that are continuing to invest and investing big dollars because it means real business, especially if you can do it in a credible way. It's harder than ever before, though. If you try to cut corners, Google will figure it out. They will penalize you on some level, either small or large. And so you want to do it with an ethical firm that has a lot of experience, that has strong depth and knowledge, and so that you don't get yourself banned and your website doesn't get damaged, because that can even affect your ability to advertise. And so, the days of cutting corners, the days of, quote, spam-related techniques, they're long gone.
Well, once again, we're saying that 5 guys or 8 guys are basically pointing the finger and saying, yeah, you live, you die, yeah, you live, maybe. I'm not sure about you. We'll come back to you. It seems that they have way too much control.
They have a lot of power. And not only do they have a lot of power, but they're investing for the future. And these are very smart people. So let me tell you about some of the things that they're investing in. They're investing in robotics. They're investing in artificial intelligence. They bought one of the largest military robotic operations in the U.S. who had contracts with the military that can do some tremendously interesting things, including carrying very large, heavy packs of military equipment up mountains and traverse it and stay balanced, all the way to devices that can outrun at a faster level than what a cheetah could do, so very high speed, robotic devices, as well as artificial intelligence. So the goal is at some point to develop a machine that will be smarter than humans, and it's coming. I mean, there's no question there will be a time within the next probably 2 decades where machines supersede man and man's ability to think. And that brings up a whole host of additional questions from a public policy standpoint. What is safe? What is reasonable? Are we entering into this world of the Terminator with Skynet? Yeah. Where at some point, the machines just take over. Already in Japan, there's devices that are robotic in nature that are self-replicating, meaning they can build itself. So these are ethical and moral concerns that need to be studied now before it becomes too late. And then there's the whole question of work. If you have machines that can do human tasks, and you have them en masse, how are people going to support themselves? What will happen to capitalism? What will happen to the economy when jobs become even more limited? The arguments by Kurzweil and others that are smart futurists and even some economists say that, well, technology has always been one to enable future jobs through the efficiency that it brings. But that didn't consider manufacturing. So that's a whole interesting set of debates about what may or may not come of this. My sense is that we will still find a way to find more sophisticated jobs and other types of things that only humans can do. But it will be a challenge, and it'll need to be ultimately governed on some level by the government.
What about these people who actually are working on projects where the computer will hold the very essence of your soul, and you'll live in the world of virtual reality forever?
I think that's coming too. I think that you will have the ability to map someone's choices and their values and how they may process and how they may think and how they might react and even some of their language patterns. But I think it will be difficult to ever map someone's soul because, that presupposes that you can tap something that people may not even know themselves. You and I, may be very articulate in certain areas, but I think we would even be hard pressed to guess what might be the exact topic we'll be talking about, in an hour.
Certainly.
Or 2 hours or 3 hours. So I think that they'll get there to some degree, but I doubt it will be to the same level until you get some hybrid combination of organic, a system, mix, and then also the whole question of what part of the soul may be spiritual. There's a whole religious question of at what point, is the soul, just driven from your anatomy and your physiology, and can you really map something that's ephemeral?
A lot of questions. The future looks bright. In your opinion, we've got about a minute before I have to go for my next break. In your opinion, what is going to be the next leaping area that we're going to watch in the internet?
Well, I think the big area of the internet that's coming, and you touched on it a little bit, is this whole concept of virtual reality and interacting. And so being able to feel and see things in real time. So, for instance, one of the reasons that Facebook bought this system, that they bought this Oculus, was, they can now purchase a seat at the Super Bowl, front row, and the guy can, the cameraman can be wearing an Oculus device and film the entire game, and you can, on the beach somewhere, have an Oculus on the Mediterranean in Europe, watch the game in real time, and maybe even wear a suit and feel some of the feelings that may be going on, the smells, you could smell it, everything, and be able to literally look around. And not only that, but to do it with your friends.
All right,
one may be in Sweden and one may be in California.
Eric, we've got to take our final break. Let's finish this conversation on the other side of this break as we continue here in the X Zone with Eric Schiffer and yours truly, Rob McConnell. Don't go away. With each new extreme weather event or terrorist act, it becomes increasingly obvious that we live in uncertain and challenging times. We all buy car insurance. Why not collapse and catastrophe insurance? Matthew Stein, an MIT-trained engineer and green builder, has written 2 outstanding books to help people prepare, plan for, and deal with everything from minor situations lasting a few days to full-on collapse. Matt's first book, When Technology Fails, is a manual for self-reliance, sustainable living, and surviving the long emergency. This massive book covers the gamut from first aid and emergency preparedness to alternative healing, renewable energy, primitive living skills, and 18th century technologies that could be critical to your comfort and survival in a long-lasting crisis. Matt's second book, When Disaster Strikes, is a comprehensive emergency preparedness handbook and survival guide. When Disaster Strikes is an essential item for every family's go bag. Both books are available at all usual sources.
There's a wealth of totally free information posted at whentechfails.com, and author-signed copies may be purchased at mattstein.com. That's www.whentechfails.com and www.mattstein.com. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com. Exonation, Eric Schiffer is my special guest this hour, and I must say this has been one of the fastest hours that I've done in a long time. Very interesting conversation. This is the future today, Exonation. Now, if you'd like to contact Eric for any of his information pertaining to your reputation management, or if you want to get more information on digital marketing, here we go, digitalmarketing.com. And for reputation management, it's reputationmanagementconsultants.com. Eric's website is ericschiffer.com. On Twitter, it's at Eric Schiffer. And don't forget, he does articles for Forbes magazine. So all you have to do is go to Forbes magazine's website and type in Eric Schiffer, and his articles will astound you. That I promise you. As I was saying, Eric, during the break, thanks so much for being with us. It's been a great hour. Looking forward to the next time you're with us.
Absolutely.
But virtual reality, I've heard of people that actually lead dual lives, one in this realm of reality and one in their virtual world. Isn't that a little dangerous?
Well, I think it depends what your dual life is, and whether you've disclosed it to your significant other. I mean, some people are in couples therapy on those issues quite a bit, and how to make sense of it. In fact, my girlfriend, she does a show in America called Couples Therapy, and if for those of you that don't watch it, it's on VH1. I think it comes out September 3rd or the first week of September.
Super.
And she's a master at doing this, and she does it with celebrities, and the show's all about that. And and that's one of the things she wrestles with clients, which is how to balance these things. But I think the most important thing with a partner is being honest and being vulnerable and being open and talking through things, and those are some of her principles. What's fascinating, and getting back to the whole technology side and even virtual reality, is also you had asked the question, what else is coming? Well, one of the big things that's coming is this ability to really, live forever. And it's not pie in the sky anymore. You have the ability over the next 20 years to literally cell by cell rebuild yourself with small robotic nanotech-related devices that will go in, clean up your mitochondria, clean up your cells, making sure that you're producing new cells, and literally, either with stem cells or other devices, rebuild your body. And so, the biggest problem has always been that the body, through, the chromosomes begin to get mutated and over time. And to the extent that you can protect the chromosomes from producing, cells that are not consistent with how you might have produced them at an early age, you literally can live in perpetuity. And so that's the concept that people are working on, and there are a lot of data points that suggest that within the next 20 years it'll be a reality. So then it just comes down to making sure you select the right plane to take on your vacation and that you drive safe.
Well, but I've got to ask you this. What about the population growth? If people aren't dying and people are getting born, what about all the people on the earth? What about the food? What about everything else that equates to an overpopulated system?
I think that there will be two things to solve that. One will be obviously public policy related issues, but I also think that there's, I think we have very, very close the ability to begin to populate other planets. I mean, you've got Elon Musk who's got a space travel system. You've got other countries now that are working on this. People are obviously looking at colonizing Mars and colonizing the moon. I think there'll be opportunities for space stations out there. So the Earth is not our final frontier.
Eric, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Continued success, and thanks for being there for all the people who need your great services.
I appreciate you. I look forward to talking again, my friend.
Take
Have
care,
a good
buddy.
night. Take
Bye-bye
care.
now.
Okay,
Eric,
you too, bud. Bye-bye.
Eric Scheffer has been my guest this hour. X-Zone Nation will have all his website information on our site. And I'll be back on the other side of the news at 6.5 minutes past the top of the hour. Don't go away.